What's up, guys? So if you have been following the Fortnite community on, I don't know, say Reddit or X for the past couple of years, you'll know that a lot of people are frustrated with the current storyline. Well, that has changed with the launch of Fortnite Season 3 in Chapter 6 because there have been so many tie-ins to the old storyline when it was peak. And we're going to talk about a theory that's been bouncing around the community. So remember to like and subscribe. Become a member for just $2. Let's get into it. Okay, so the theory actually relates to the new live event that's upcoming in OG Fortnite. So the rocket launch event, right? The one that we got in Season 4 all the way back in 2018. We're going to be seeing that live event again. Since the release of Season 3, obviously we got OG Season 4. And the Visitor has come back in that OG pass. There's a big theory that he's actually the same Visitor, which would mean that the current storyline and the OG storyline might just be canon. They might be interlinked somehow. So now people are starting to theorize in OG Fortnite, when we see that event, people think that when that rocket goes up into the big rift, it's going to come out onto the Chapter 6 island. So we're going to see that rocket go into the rift, right? At the end of the live event, that iconic giant rift. But then it's going to cut to either a cutscene or it's going to transport us to Chapter 6, and we're going to be seeing the rocket come back out of the rift in Chapter 6. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if that happens? That would mean so many things. It would mean that OG and Chapter 6, most likely Chapter 7, are connected. They're intertwined with each other. Their storylines are, parallel. They're the same thing. That would mean that OG is canon, that it is a part of the story. That would also mean that the 7 are officially back because, the rocket is piloted by the Visitor, and if he comes through a rift onto the Chapter 6 map, he'll be in Chapter 6. He'll be in the main storyline once again. So there's a lot of theories going around, but this one is the big one because this live event happens at the very end of Season 3 as well. The seasons line up. It is the perfect opportunity. It is an absolute tap-in to get the freaking Visitor in his rocket to Chapter 6 and connect the storylines. If you ask me, that is the absolute perfect opportunity to bring the 7 back. It literally makes sense. He goes through a rift in OG Fortnite and comes back out through a rift in the current storyline, in the current Fortnite. What better way of bringing the 7 back than that? What better way of doing it than that? It's absolutely perfect. That is the main theory that's going around the storyline. Let me know what you guys think of that theory. Because, look, honestly, there's so many tie-ins to other OG stuff. If you guys don't know about it, go watch one of my most recent videos. And that video is, of course, why the Fortnite storyline might just be back, finally. So if this theory were to come true, if the Visitor were to go up into his rocket, right, into the giant rift like we saw in 2018, and then come back out onto the Chapter 6 island, then oh my god, the storyline is truly back. That's just a theory though. We still have like a month and a half, and oh man, now I'm getting excited. But this does feel like the old days of Fortnite, right? When the storyline was mainstream, and you had all these people theorizing it and everything. Like that genuinely feels like old Fortnite, because that's what everyone would do. They'd theorize on, who the 7 are, what the last reality is, like in Chapter 2. It was so good. It feels like we're in those times again. Let me know if you guys agree. And yeah, it's really the main theory that's going around the Fortnite community right now regarding the story. Is that the rocket will go through that rift in the live event and come out in Chapter 6. Let me know what you guys think. See you on the next one.